Welcome to Energetics with Kim and Veronica, where we invite you to nourish the energy of your inner why, your inner healing, magic, prosperity, your curiosity, clarity, playfulness. Welcome home. Hi, everyone. Hi, Kim. Welcome to our next episode. So excited to be here. And as we always say, we hope you're pulling up a chair and sitting right beside us and around the campfire, in the living room, around the kitchen table, wherever we might be, and just having a chat, having a conversation. And if you're listening, you're contributing to whatever comes forth. So thank you. And if you ever feel inspired to share this with anyone in your life who can benefit from these conversations, we would really deeply appreciate that. So Kim, welcome. Hi, how are you?
I am good, Miss Veronica. I am good. And thank you everyone for listening. And like Veronica said, share, help us get out there. And we appreciate you so much. And do you have your curious mind and your beginner's mind listening with us? That curiosity.
Yep. I love we love to talk about concepts that are not new, but we love to bring out the newness, our new awarenesses and experiences with them. So inviting you to join us with that framework. And Kim, where can folks find you?
Good question. So my website my website is growingbeyond.com and I am on Instagram as kimcoleman.growingbeyond and I'm on Facebook, Kim Coleman.
Amazing. And I can be found on Instagram at the Veronica Rose, Rose. So Kim, what are we talking about today? We're talking about yeah buts.
Yeah, but oh my goodness. Yeah, there's just so much going on. And our last chat, we were talking about, we were sharing some wisdom and our own personal experiences with uh, abundance and playing in the field of abundance. Was it abundance? Yeah, I think so.
Gratitude, yeah.
Gratitude. Thank you. There it is. Gratitude. I knew that wasn't the thing. Yeah, the
Gratitude.
gratitude piece. And yeah, that there's so much more to gratitude than one call can actually articulate and talk about. And there's just, they talk about gratitude being an alchemy. And I know in the last call we did talk about, yeah, and it's got to be authentic. And it's got not verbal diarrhea where you're doing it because someone said it's alchemic. It's an alchemical experience and it can change things. Uh, so anything you want to bring in around that so far? Not that I've said too much, but
Yeah. No, it's true. It's like, I think and when I first started playing, and maybe you as well, Kim, it was really getting the feeling in my body. So there's one thing to be like, yeah, I'm grateful. Yeah. Kind of like your parents tell you you should be grateful for the food on your plate because there's other kids that don't have food, right? And it's like, yeah. But when you really understand the power of gratitude and how potent it is in molding and transforming your life, and you choose to lean into it and take it on as a tool and as a practice, and the key is to generate it as an energy, and thinking it alone does not have a strong energetic force behind it. When you think it with the feeling, when you actually feel the gratitude, that is when it is extremely powerful and potent. And so sometimes it takes us a bit of practice to really begin to be comfortable with that energy, with that feeling. And you've got it when you can feel it, when you truly feel grateful. But sometimes it's not easy for us to get there if it's something we haven't practiced, or if we've been feeling like really resentful or unhappy with our life. So you want to start with small things when that is the case. If you're not used to it or you're not sure, start out with the small things. We talked about a lot of simple examples, but maybe it's just as simple as being out in nature, watching the sunset, or those simple things. the paycheck, right? I talked about it from for me. It was just like I couldn't appreciate anything about my job, but like there was money coming in, so like let me just focus in on that. There's one little thing. So whatever that is, maybe it's like waking up in the morning and it's like, oh, I've got soft sheets and it's just cozy, and it's the small things that you can use as a tool to begin to open up that capacity within you. And the more that you play with it and practice it, you'll be able to bring it into bigger and bigger things in your life.
Yeah. And, activate. So what we're doing is as we're getting the feel of it, or we're actually getting the vibe of it, and we're also being the frequency of it. And so that is when we can be the frequency, if you will, the energy, the vibe, when we can be it by feeling it, right? Then you're being that vibe, then that is what you're radiating out into the universe, which is the language of the universe. So when you're being the energy of gratitude, you are now speaking the language of the universe, the primary language of the universe. And so when you have that gratitude vibe, or whatever the vibe is, if you have that gratitude or appreciation for what is, even though it may not be enough, because that's where a lot of us tend to go by default, when we can have that gratitude and just shift gears. And yeah, it is a practice in the beginning. Like I said, for me, it's about, oh my God, I love the fact that I can push the button on my shower and have a shower. And like you were saying, there was a day when people had to share. I mean, even in was it your father?
Yeah.
Yeah, even, there were 5 people that had used the bathwater before he did. And it's interesting because when it came to Thanksgiving this year, I started to bring in the concept of gratitude with my grandbabies, and it was really interesting because one of the little smart bums, she said, "Nanny, this is the 20th century." Right. And so, because I was doing gratitude for something that in her world was just no different than, um, I don't know, no
Right.
different than, well, everybody has toilet paper. It's the 20th century. Do you know what
Right.
I
Right.
mean? And
Right.
even though that wasn't the thing that I was bringing in.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that in that moment, it just wasn't my audience. Because she, right? And yeah, but anyway, yeah, that frequency. So, and that is, when we say, when we've all heard, be the change you want to see in the world. To me, that in itself is active. If I want to see more beauty in the world, then perhaps it would be about me activating that energy, that space, and that consciousness within myself first. Now I'm being it. Now, when I can activate that within me, now I'm being it. And you know what? It's about using your imagination. Even if you have to use your imagination because there's nothing in your world right in this 10 seconds that is beautiful, then we can get into using your imagination, because guess what? The imagination, and this is science, not that I have the words of what they would use, but science knows that the imagination does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined, right? And so why wouldn't we use that knowledge? That's a knowledge that's right there at our fingertips. It's right there. So if I can use my imagination to activate that which I would like to have in my life, then I'm being it. Now I'm a match for it. Now I'm a match for it. But if I'm the match for it's not here and it's not showing up and I don't have it, so I can't activate. Everything is within us. We've heard that forever. Everything is within us. That used to make me go, yeah, okay, I get it. And how do I access it? Use your imagination, right? Use your imagination. And so, Veronica, you and I have done different programs together on what we call creation energy, right? And so that can be as simple. So how do you activate that? Okay, so it could be, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? What might it be like if I blah blah blah? And so that is using your imagination. So you're using your imagination to activate something that is already within you. Now you're being the thing, right? So you're being it by activating it within you.
Yeah. And imagine what we're generating when we're living in the yeah buts. When, when that's our default. What is that? How does that translate into the language of the universe when we're in, yeah, but I can't because my bank account looks like this. Yeah, but I can't because my relationship isn't there yet, or I haven't met the man of my dreams, or I don't have the career that I desire, or yeah, but I don't have the clients that I want. So when we're living in the yeah, but, that's generating more of the yeah, buts. So when you think about it, use your imagination to think about, we're generating energy out into the web of life, and what we generate is what ends up becoming what we live and what our reality is. When we stay in those programs, those loops of the yeah buts, we just continue to recycle the same thing over and over and over again. And that's where we are, as sovereign beings, able to transcend those stories, those narratives, the codes, the wiring that we've had for so long, and evolve beyond them to begin to create something completely new and different. But it takes some courage and it takes some conscious choice. It's simple, but it's not always easy to break free from what is comfortable for us. And even though things might seem difficult, it can be comfortable because it's what we know.
Yeah. And like you said, it's the programs that we grew up with, that our parents grew up with, so we're soaking in it.
Exactly. And so looking at where you say yeah, but that's a really good way to kind of hone in on where you may have an opportunity. Where are you defending or, justifying your choice to not move into the gratitude because of the yeah, but because of this, yeah, but because of that. And it's things that we feel we're giving our power to it because we feel like it's not in our control, but we have the control. And it's crazy. Like once you start to play with it, it's crazy how your life will transform. Not only do the things that remain the same begin to look more beautiful and magical, but also all these like surprises and wonder and magic starts to show up in your life that you couldn't have imagined. But it really takes that strength and that courage to step out of that programming and choose something different.
Yeah, I love that. And for me, it's when I notice myself in the old default of, yeah, but, right? When I notice it. And so that's the first piece, is notice what your inner environment, how it's responding to what it is you're looking to create, what it is you're looking to have gratitude with and for and be. And so just notice that inner space, if it's a yeah, but, or no, that'll never happen. I tried that before, all the things, recognize that those are just narratives. And those are also reference points from the past. And in that, we want to, so for me, when I notice myself being in one of my default things, this is where I've learned to go, oh my God, I'm hilarious. I'm doing that thing again. Because otherwise, we then compound, okay, I did that'll never happen for me. And now I'm going to beat myself up because I've just, I know better than to think that way, because now it's never going to happen because I just erased all that thing. Right. And so then we start to compound. So I did that thing again, and now I'm going to beat myself up over it. Okay, there you go. Right? And so for me, we've heard forever also, laughter is the best medicine. So I love to bring all of those little tidbits together as a usable energy. And so when I notice myself going down the same old, or the default, or the rabbit hole, or the yeah buts, or whatever you want to call it, the programs, that's where I go, oh, literally, I will say to myself, oh my God, I'm hilarious. I'm doing that thing again. Boom. That's it. It's as simple as that. There you go. I'm hilarious. I'm doing that thing again. And the celebration is that this time I noticed it. That's a celebration because I noticed it. So I'm no longer the gerbil or whatever, the hamster on the wheel. I've actually finally stopped the wheel, even if it's a week later that you go, oh my God, yeah, I did that thing again last week or whatever. It's still a celebration. And so when we start celebrating our moments of awareness, oh my God, get ready. Get ready because you'll start to have more and more and more awareness of where you are functioning from with your own thoughts, beliefs, feelings, and emotions, where you are functioning from that just isn't contributing to the life that you would like to have. Right? And so it's the noticing is the first thing. And again, noticing with that little Mona Lisa smile on your lips and that giggle in your heart and celebrating that you're noticing because that is the beginning for me. That was the beginning for me is noticing it, right? And then I went into noticing it and beating myself up. Like I said, right? No, it's not that. And then I started laughing at myself. Oh my God, I'm hilarious. I did that, right? I did that thing again.
Exactly. Yeah. And how many of us feel stuck, right? Like it's so common to hear that people feel stuck and, it either internally in what you're trying to navigate or understand or stuck in life in terms of relationships or work or finances. And so when there's the stuckness, it's usually because there's something we haven't become aware of. There's something we haven't noticed or observed yet. And so that's a really good opportunity to say, okay, I'm stuck. That means there's something here that's preventing me. And when we can begin to become curious and inquisitive and start to examine, look for the language, right? The yeah buts or however that plays out in your mind. That is like a mirror reflecting to you what it is that's presenting to you something that's ready to be decoded, deprogrammed, refined, reformed. And that's the first step. And it seems simple and can be very easily undervalued, but it's such a big catalyst for change.
Thank you for that. Because you know what? That just popped in the piece of, how many times, how often are we not playing in the field of possibilities, but we're playing in that field, like a set of reference points of, oh, he'll never do that. Oh, it's going to be really hard. Oh, to heal that and fix that, it's going to take forever. And I'm always like, is it though? Like, is that actually true? Because if I believe, that this thing is going to take me forever. Like you said, the stuckness. If I have this point of view or this belief or this program running that says it's going to take forever, if it's true that the universe has my back and my point of view creates my reality, what if the universe was like, hey, she's going to heal us at the snap of the fingers? And I'm like, this is going to take forever. And the universe goes, well, she's the boss and we've got her back. Okay, it's going to take forever. And so we're constantly creating our reality with these things, and so that's one of the ones that I hear a lot is this is going to be really hard, or this is going to take a lot of time, or he'll never say yes to that, or she'll never agree to that. And I'm like, really? Is that actually true? Do you absolutely know that to be true? And kind of challenging ourselves, noticing our beliefs, and then asking a question maybe of like, really, is that actually true? Do I know that to be true, or is that how it was last time? Because if I keep showing up as I did last time, possibilities are that I'm going to keep creating that same old.
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's often, it's the patterns from the past that continue to reappear through our lives because we have lived the story once. So we've decided it's going to continue to play out the same way. And, what if it won't? Or what if we could choose something different? What if, we've talked a lot about the energy that we bring into something. What if that could be the change this time? Um, and I had a thought, but it's escaped me now. But it was really good thought.
Well, maybe it'll come back. Hopefully it'll come back.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've really, I don't know, it was an idea that came to me and maybe to you too, Kim, but I've really kept it as one of my core beliefs over the last 10 years or so is that everything that I desire is meant for me, right? And everything I desire is my soul inviting me into my greatness. So then I begin to look at my desires as, as not only just like a whimsical thing that I want or like, it's an invitation into my greatness. And we hear from a lot of smart people that it's when we're moving towards our desires, it's really about the journey of who we're becoming in to then realize those desires. It's about the evolution of ourselves. And so when we start to look at the yeah buts and the stories that are keeping us back, sometimes we really want to hold on to those stories, because it feels good to feel right. So if there's the same story, this is the good thought that escaped me. When there's the same story that keeps playing itself out, when it's almost like it feels better for me to be right about my failure than for me to consider that it might work and then be disappointed, right? So it's like there's a 50-50. It's if I'm going for something, either it's going to happen or it's not. It's 50-50. And so I might get my hopes up and be disappointed, or I can say, see, I was right, it didn't work. And sometimes that feels more comfortable, to just defend your rightness about it not working. And so that's another good story to start to look at, is where are you trying to fight for, because that feels comfortable. Like, oh, well, at least I was right. At least I was right that it didn't work out. At least I was right that, that I shouldn't have gone for that, or that I did go for it, but I knew it wasn't going to work anyways. Where are you arguing for that limitation?
Yeah, and you know what? That's where we might say to ourselves or somebody out loud, "I knew that wasn't gonna happen." It's that, and that's how it shows up. That might be how it shows up for us is, "Yeah, I knew that wasn't gonna happen. I knew he was gonna do that. I knew she was gonna do that. I knew that wouldn't work." Oh, and now you get to be right. And yet again, it's that sneaky back door, if you will, of yeah, start for giving up that story and noticing where you are thinking that it's not going to work before you even initiate it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so in that, it's hard to have gratitude for things if we're constantly filling our cup full of things that aren't working, right? So yeah, so you and I were talking about this, before we hit the recording button of, if we've got our cup full of things that aren't working, lack, um, difficulty, hardships, not enough, all of that kind of stuff, and we're maintaining, right? We're maintaining that. That's kind of what we've adapted to, unfortunately. Uh, and then all of a sudden, the cup is overflowing with that. That's when we can get overwhelmed. Our central nervous system doesn't know how to deal with that, our emotional intelligence, all of that kind of stuff. And so, I love, love, love how, yeah, sometimes you might need to use your imagination and really look around in your environment for something that makes you feel good, and really pause and really let yourself feel the feels that you have for that thing, that'll activate that appreciation and start to fill that cup. Start to fill that cup so that when your cup is full with gratitude and appreciation, then as more comes in, it's like your cup is overflowing. Your cup is overflowing with gratitude and appreciation, and so now you're being that. Now you're a vibrational match for more of that, instead of the cup being full of the other stuff, the stuff that's not contributing. Now for me, like, I love a beautiful mug. Oh my god, right? And so to somebody else, it might just be a mug. For me, that's what I collect, is beautiful mugs. And so when you open up my cupboards for a mug, it's like, oh, they're so pretty. And that might be something totally silly for somebody else. So it's not that I'm attached to stuff. However, if I have something that when I look at it, just like you did with your pen, Veronica, you love a good pen, right? When I look at something, it doesn't matter what it is, could be a picture of my grandbabies. Doesn't mean I'm attached to the picture, but when I look at it, and for me, again, my grandbabies, a beautiful mug in the morning, if it makes me go, ah, it's so pretty. Oh my God, I love that so much. I've just used something outside of me to activate that, oh my God, I love that so much within me. And now I'm playing in gratitude. Now I'm playing with appreciative. And it can be something as simple. So it's not that we're attached to stuff, but hey, if looking at something, whatever it is, brings that Mona Lisa smile on your lips and that giggle in your heart, then it is contributing to you, right? If you're looking at something and it contributed to you yesterday and it's not today, that's fine. Maybe it's time to pass that over to someone else. So I'm not about filling my space full of stuff, but hey, listen, if I'm looking at that crystal or that mug or a picture of a grandbaby and it activates that feel of, oh my God, in my heart, it's contributing. It's activating that within me. I'm using something outside of me to activate something within me. And now I can be that. Now I can be that in the world. Yeah.
I love it. And that's, that ties back to, an early episode where we really talked about, in more depth about how the quantum physics supports this in terms of, if you look at particles, the particles will rearrange themselves in response to me looking at them. And if you look at the same particles, they rearrange themselves differently, which tells us that the universe actually, arranges itself in response to us and our observation of it and our interaction with it. And so we can all be looking at the same thing, but experience it differently and seeing it differently because the universe is actually, engaging with us differently depending on how we look at it. So we start to see life more beautifully, and things just start to become more magical. And yes, it might be the simple things, but also, big and wondrous things can come as well.
Yeah. And you know what? I remember years ago, I would have rocks from outside that spoke to me. I would have maybe a branch. I actually had a tree stump that I thought was beautiful, and I used it to display, like, it's stuff like that. It doesn't have to be something you bought, and yet it can be. Hey, if I feel amazing when I've got those shoes on and that purse, right? That's a vibe I'm now able to be. I'm just using something as a tool to activate that within me. And like you said, yeah, it is. It's a thing. It's a thing. We're being that energy of appreciation and gratitude. So, our job, and I'm just looking at my notes that I took from listening to a call this morning, our job is to fill our cup and it will overflow. So, what are we filling our cup with? It's gotta be a consistency thing. It does, right? So for me, like I said, I can have appreciation for being able to turn the shower on. And listen, toilet paper? Yeah.
That's so funny.
Like, it doesn't have to be like the diamonds and the pearls, and it can be that too,
It can be, yeah, exactly.
right?
It can be
But,
all of it. It includes
yeah.
all of it.
It does, and so the appreciation of having toilet paper it can
Mhm.
be that, right? But to start to look around at the things that we take for granted, and
There's so
and
much.
and even our partners and ourselves. How often do we take ourselves for granted? My God, right? And we can pause and go, wow, you know what? I did this. Wow. I did that. Gratitude for
Exactly.
ourselves. That's a big one, eh? The gratitude for self.
It is. That can be a tough one.
Yeah, I know. I know. It
Yeah.
just popped out of my mouth right now, and I'm like, huh, that we could explore that one
Hmm.
for sure.
100%.
Gratitude for
100%. Yeah.
self, and
Yes.
yeah, and for showing up. Hey, right? Like when somebody comes for a class or for a session, I'm always like, hey, let's pause for a moment and have gratitude for yourself for showing up, and your
Mm.
sweet body for getting you here, and all the things that it took for you to get here and be here, whether it's on a phone call or on my table. That
Yeah.
gratitude for that moment of saying yes to self. I think that's something that we could explore, because I'm for even for
Let's
myself,
do
because
it.
I'm like, huh, yeah, I agree.
Let's do it. It's a teaser for our next episode.
Yeah, it is, because I'm like, where are some examples of where we can have gratitude for ourselves, right? And so
Hmm.
yeah, let's explore that sometime.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, as always, would love for everyone to share any insights, ahas, or takeaways. As you've played with any of these tools, practices, concepts. What have you experienced? And we're always open to the feedback and the questions. So thank you, Kim. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for this conversation. It was beautiful, and I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it too, and
Mhm.
appreciate you. And yeah, we never know where they're going to go. And I appreciate that as well.
Me too. Yeah. Awesome. So much love,
Awesome.
everyone. Until next time.
Next time.